Welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss name number 2 in Chaldean numerology. So with the name number of 2, guys, what we have here is the exact opposite of what we were talking about yesterday with the number 1. So the number 2 is represented by the moon energy. The moon energy is a lunar sort of energy. It develops through our subconscious, the shadow side of our nature, the dark side. It gets power in the night. And its lucky day, of course, is Monday in comparison to number 1's, which would be Sunday. When we look at the number 2 from a more different perspective, we see that number 1 is like the creative force, number 2 is the nurturing force. The sun reflects off the moon to our planet, and if without the moon there, the sun would burn our planet pretty much to death, right? And we would not be living on this planet because it would not be that hospitable. The moon is a necessary force. A lot of people overlook this and then look at the number 2 as a sort of weak energy, or just an energy of sort of being a helper, or just too much feminine qualities. What people don't realize is that masculinity and femininity need to both be in everything in order for it to be sustainable. Yin and yang develop balance, and that balance actually makes it so that we can all survive on the planet. It also makes it so that things like structures are sustainable. You can have a creative force that's actually making it using aggression, but then you need to also have the feminine force, which is sustaining it and nurturing it. It's like having grass. The sun can just hit the seed and make it grow, but without the water, without a gentle touch, without being out of the sun for a bit, the sun would just burn up. The sun would just burn up the grass, and the grass would just burn and die. So, number 2 people. If you have the name number of 2, that means you can be either a master number 11 or just a basic name number 2. And I don't mean basic as in its basic number. It's definitely a very powerful number that we're going to get into today. It's developed called occult studies, the Illuminati. Everything actually goes around the number 2 as well. It's definitely a very powerful number, and a lot of people that do know a lot about spirituality do understand this. So number 2 is, of course, like I said, the nurturing force, loving, caring, the force of a lot of endurance, the force of acceptance. All these things are feminine qualities. This makes them very powerful. Unlike the sun, number 1 people who have a very strong brute force and they'll go forward in life just with that alone, the number 2 will actually accept life's challenges as they come, meaning it's like the tree that bends but doesn't break. This number 2 force will actually keep walking forward no matter what the obstacles are. They might feel emotional about it, it'll go through their subconscious, and then through their subconscious they'll accept it and keep moving forward. Number 2 is also very popular for having psychic abilities due to the fact that it's on the dark side of our nature. It's the yin energy, so it's taking in all the vibrations from its external environment and then translating it in the psychic realm very quickly. This actually is definitely for people with name number 2. The next one I want to discuss is just name number 11. The name number of 11 is, of course, a master number. A lot of people know about the time 1111, make a wish. 11 is a very powerful manifestation number because it balances our yin and our yang energies. It's double yang, which is the sun, and then it adds to number 2, which is the foundation, which is the yin. So you have number 2 there that still has the psychic abilities, the intuition, the ability to read people very well, the diplomatic skills to be a great leader. And then you have the number 1 that's very aggressive, very self-assured, and then very powerful and has a very resonating force wherever they go. So if you have a name number of 11, you need to understand that, for one, there might be treachery going on around you. People might be jealous of your vibration. People might feel that you're intimidating and end up lying to you and try to deceive you. A lot of number 11s are perceived as being weak just because they're very understanding people. Like I said, number 2 is a diplomatic number. That's why it's so underestimated. So even if you have a number 11, you might just be going on the vibration of the number 2. In order to fix that, all you need is self-awareness. Understand that you're number 11. Understand that you do have abilities to see into the future, to intuitively know who people are, and to be a great leader once you find your passion for whatever endeavor you choose to go on for your life. You're just meant to make a very big impact with the name number of 11, and you just need to understand that and move forward with that sort of confidence in your stride. All right? The name number 20 is often very overlooked. In Chaldean numerology, as I said in the prior video, the compound number that adds up to your name number is very, very important, the final compound number. So what we have here is the number 20. The number 20 is 2 and then 0. So you have 2, which is amplified by the number 0. Just like with 10, it was amplified. Unlike the 10 that govern the root chakra, the number 2 is actually going to cover the third eye and the crown chakra. A lot of people don't know this. They would just assume it could be the second chakra. It's not. It's actually the opposite end of the body. So the root chakra is at the bottom of our spine. The crown chakra is at the top of our head up here. The thing with that chakra is that it doesn't believe in duality. It goes outside the realms of physics. It goes to the quantum level of life, meaning it can cause immediate change, immediate power. It doesn't follow the processes of karma that our known universe is known for. It becomes the cause and effect of itself. Very, very hard to explain because it goes against everything that we've been taught. The number 20 is an extremely powerful number. People born the 20th have an extremely big influence on the environment around them, and they're also highly influenced by the environment around them. So it's very counterintuitive. They can do both, and they usually do both at the same time. What you need to do if you do have this name number is just understand that that's what you're doing. Your aura is extremely powerful. Your crown chakra is probably sort of open already. And with those capabilities, you need to just look at life in a sense of, I can affect my environment and I can accept what my environment is offering me, but I shouldn't necessarily be affected by it, especially from the negative portions. The weakness with the number 20 is that you guys usually end up being too attached to your environment, being too sentimental, and too caregiving to people that don't deserve it. So like with the 11, you have to watch out for treachery because you have great power. With that great power comes great responsibility, even to yourself, not just being cautious with other people. Be cautious with how you think, cautious with how you feel, because those things are going to manifest and translate in your immediate reality, and rather quickly because of what chakra is open for you. So you need to understand that these things are present, that these energies are always working, and then work your way around that. Next number I want to go over is name number 29. So a lot of people say, oh, it's the same as 11. Not quite. What we do have here is the 2, which is, of course, Moon, 9, which is Mars, and then equals 11. The reason that we actually still talk about the 29 is because we wouldn't really minimize the 11 now down to 2. Because the master number would just stay prevalent regardless. You don't need to minimize any more than that. Any other number, we would usually just minimize it down, such as like I'm trying to think here, number 48. You would just say that's a person with a name number of 12. It's different, but when you add it and it becomes a master number, then that's the compound number before the master number. Sounds a bit confusing, but once you actually do take in what I'm saying, you'll realize that, okay, if I have a really long name number, and it adds up to one of those master numbers, then I can just stop there. If it doesn't, then keep going and minimize it. And whatever compound number comes before is going to be my actual name number. All right? So with the 29, you have two counterintuitive forces. They're contradictory. Mars and the Moon sort of hate each other. They have very different relations with their reality. Moon is all about accepting, watering, nurturing nature. Mars is all about fire, rage, being that warrior spirit, very similar to number 1, except it has a bit more of an ideological viewpoint on life. So when you add that to the 11, it makes this sort of 11, this is kind of what we call the evil 11 in Chaldean numerology, just because they're very susceptible to bad influences. They're very, very good in business, very aggressive, and they also have the same psychic abilities of the 11, the dynamicism, the passion, the ability to inspire the masses. All those things are still present, but the thing about it is there's two contradictory influences within them, through the 2 and through the 9. These influences will make them feel like they should be nurturing and caregiving, yet be still cutthroat when it comes to business, getting money, and just getting anything that they want in life that they view should be theirs. So when you have this sort of name number, just be very careful as to, if they're your children, make sure that you actually give them extra attention, make sure that you actually show them why ideologically the difference between right and wrong. Just because if they get that influence from the wrong place, they're going to develop that with master number energy and really manifest it in the physical realm. If you are a name number 29, point this towards business. It's contradictory forces, yet contradictory forces sometimes work very well together. 2 and 9 can work very well together if you learn to accept your own nature and control the fire that's within you. The last number I want to discuss here, guys, is number 38. The name number of 38 is a very, very sort of interesting number, because once again we have kind of two opposing forces that equal the 11. A lot of the number 2 numbers end up just being 11 just simply because, well, you usually get to 11 before you get to 2. So with that being said, the number 38 now is really good for politics, really good for performance, being on stage, because you have the 3, which is about Jupiter, center of attention, gives the rays back to the sun. You have Saturn, which is all about dark energy, being powerful. Things like war and overcoming struggle is popular for the number 8s. And then that adds to 11, which means they're going to master how to do those things. So the 11 is going to master politics, power, business of the 8, and it's going to master the communication and confidence and stress relief of the 3. You bring these all together and you get somebody who really can essentially just reach the heights of power very quickly. These are the type of people that will either become very successful in anti-social groups such as gangs, terrorist groups, etc., or they're going to be a very big inspiration in positive realms such as medicine, law, politics, and cause great reforms in those areas. It could also be in the arts, of course. So when you look at it from that angle, if you are a name number 38, understand that you may have had a hard time finding your purpose due to the fact that you have contradictory forces through your name number. However, once you do understand that you can utilize these things to your advantage by benefiting each one. If you have a passion for art but a passion for business, turn your artistic skills into a business. You might have to work a job for a few years, but you can still monetize your skill set. Once the 11 understands that you're looking to actually utilize it to its capacity, it then becomes sort of a catalyst in your life. It actually ends up taking over what your day-to-day actions are, and it actually starts working through you. It starts attracting the right things to you rather quickly in a way in which people won't understand. These master numbers work outside of our realm. They work in a different sort of way that we don't quite understand. The number 2 already does that as is through feminine energy. The 11 amplifies this a lot. All right. So the only other numbers that would really add up to the number 2 going up and doesn't have the same meaning would be like 47. 47 again would be like opposition forces. Number 4 Rahu, number 7 Ketu. The number 4 would stand for Maya. The number 7 is of course with Ketu, which actually wants disillusionment. So it just wants anti-monetary lifestyle. The number 4 is chasing the lifestyle of being at peace with more material comforts such as money, such as good family, and whatever would make them feel like they have enough assets to relax. When this adds to 11, it can cause sort of an antisocial person, a person with a lot of anxiety, somebody who doesn't really view life as safe. What you need to understand is you need to feel safe within your own energy. The way you feel safe within your own energy is by actually understanding it and then realizing that your anxiety must come from somewhere. You need to find the root of that anxiety and utilize it to your advantage. Say, okay, I'm anxious because I don't have enough money. Why don't I have enough money? What have I done in the past to make myself be in this position of feeling impoverished? When you actually get to the root of these problems, then you can actually access your 11 energy. You can begin manifesting. You can begin putting things to your subconscious mind and letting the 1 energy manifest in the physical realm rather quickly. Like I said, this only applies if you do have the name number, meaning your first, middle, and last name add to one of these numbers, or the name that you most go by as to one of these numbers. That's when this is applicable to you in Chaldean numerology. If you guys have any questions regarding any of these numbers whatsoever, please just let me know in the comments. If you guys want me to go over any other compound numbers, I'm just going over the most popular ones, the most common ones for people to have. Just let me know in the comments, though, if you have your own unique one, and I'll definitely cover it as well. Aside from that, guys, please like, subscribe. Follow me back tomorrow with number 3, guys. Peace.